Bingo bango.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? It's your man Jay Kevin here with Leif Taylor. Going to have a conversation talking about how gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, can help you live a better life. Gratitude, Leif. Of course, one of the things that's got me thinking about gratitude is the season that we're in. We just came out of the holiday of Thanksgiving, and that kind of opens the door or the pathway to a season of just thinking about being grateful and thankful, and just thinking about appreciating uh, the just the many things that we may have in our life, or how the many ways we may be living our life. Just want to take the focus off of things and place it more on the more important things like family, relationships, people, and life and liberty and the pursuit of property or the pursuit of happiness. You know, think about some of those things that you really can't quantify. I know we try to quantify it, but we can't quantify it. Hey, what's up, Miles? How you doing? Just talking about gratitude and hey,
What's up, Nick?
Nakia, being thankful. So, what are some things that you're thankful and grateful for, Leif? And then I'll ask the audience too. What are some things that you're grateful for, appreciative of, and just thankful? Just thankful about when it comes to some of the things in your life. Uh, One of the things I'm thankful for is family and good friends and good food. You got to put food in there, like top five or top. You got to put food in there. Those are some of the things I'm grateful for and thankful for, especially in these days and times. Just thinking about 2020 and the
Mhm.
year that it's been for a lot of people. And I know, Leif, me and you, in the back channels, we do a lot of communicating. We pass a lot of information back and forth.
Yep.
And some of the information that we pass back and forth is grim in nature, I guess. It's just not. It's sometimes we look at the rougher moments that's going on in the world, and not to say that we are or I am a glutton for grimness or a glutton for the pain in reality. It's just sometimes when I kind of look at these things, and it helps me be more appreciative and more grateful. And then also it helps when it comes to um, uh, having a heart for prayer, and just looking out for sending up good words and good thoughts and good things, good vibes for other people who may not be in the best of situations. All of
Like,
which I hope
wow.
somebody does for me as I'm journeying through my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Give cover as somebody lends cover to you. I'm thinking about the Spartans when they lined up. They lined with their shields overlapping each other, so that each other is
Yeah.
giving everybody protection during war. So, just thinking about that. I'm thankful for being and the ability to provide the best that I can. That's a good one, Nikia. Um, is it Nikia or Nika?
Nika.
Nika. And Miles, these classes are kicking my butt. Well, it's always good to be thankful for the classes that kick your butt, because when you accomplish uh, everything that's required of you, and you actually make it and you get through it, you can be grateful for the pain that has shaped and molded you for the gain that you're going to get from what you learned, the lessons that you acquired, the skills that you got in those painful classes. So we can definitely be grateful for an accomplished and skillful Miles. The world is better, and the world is thankful for that. How can being grateful give you a better life, Leif? How can that be so? Science says that you can get like 28 benefits just from having an attitude of gratitude. Number one, it makes you happier. It increases your psychological well-being. It enhances your positive emotions. It increases your self-esteem. It keeps suicidal thoughts and attempts at bay. Now, that's a real serious one. that especially this year, there has been a significant uptick when it comes to things like that. So learning how to maintain and cultivate an attitude of gratitude during the worst of times can help you along the way. It makes people like us. It improves your romantic relationships. It improves your friendships, increases your social support, strengthens your family. It makes you more optimistic. It increases your spiritualism, as this article says, but it helps you in your awareness to the fact that there's more to this natural world than meets the eye. And it helps you realize that you are here with purpose. You are here with a greater purpose than just going out and paying bills and meeting your obligations. That your life is meant for something, and the things that's innate in your DNA, that's innate in you, is cultivated with design, and it's up to us to find that out and to nourish it and to hone it and to use it skillfully, so that we fit in a larger tapestry of a greater work that is being played out in all of our individual lives. So just thinking about that, increasing your spiritual awareness. It makes us more giving. It indicates, helps us when it comes to materialism. It helps brings you to the importance of knowing that there's more, like I said, more to this life than just accumulating materials and things. It's going to just stack up in your garage. I see that on a regular basis. There's more to life than filling up your garage and then your storage house and then your basement. All to be set out for somebody to come by and pick up.
If you decide to clean.
Yeah, if you decide to clean. It enhances your optimism. It makes it, when it comes to like work and career, it makes you a more effective manager. It reduces impatience and improves decision making. It helps you find meaning in work. It contributes to reducing turnover. It improves work-related mental health and reduce stress. When it comes to your physical attributes, it helps reduces depressive symptoms, reduces your blood pressure, improves your sleep, increases your frequency of exercise, improves your overall physical health. So that's just a few that I've named, and these are all scientifically backed. But anecdotally, I think that we can all attest to some of the benefits and effects of just having an attitude of gratitude. Mal says, "I'm aware, but those around me don't seem to be." Be grateful.
Go ahead. She said, "I was heard this week about someone being hateful about my husband. What am I supposed to do? I refuse to hate on any color." And then that's when she posted this, just to get you up to speed.
But those around me don't seem to be.
What's up, Mike?
About somebody hating on her husband?
Mm-hmm.
How should you respond to that?
Yeah, just go ahead. Just talk on that for right now.
Huh. I don't know. How would you respond to that?
To me, well, I'm a confronter. So when things are off, especially like when it comes to my wife, things like that, then I'm like, okay, I'll go deal with it, that kind of thing. And so, but like she says, just from her personal standpoint, she refuses to hate on people of any color. And you and I have talked about this quite a bit in the back channel, so to speak, about how it's the them versus the theys, and then it's never really identified who the theys are and the thems and all of these kind of things, as opposed to, okay, who are people that are actually against you or trying to do something to you. And typically it's not going to be a generalized sect, right? And don't get me wrong, societal issues, and of course we know the history of America, but just when you start clumping people into one big category, then you fall into the same narrative of isolating yourself from other people and those kinds of things, and it breeds an internal aggression. And so you got to be very careful of that. um, you know Miles, she's talking about her husband, and hey, if he rocks with you, then that's all that matters. Because and what I'm saying by that is, when I think about my own family, when I think about my wife and my kids, one of the things that we always say when whatever's going on in the world is like, as long as we got each other, we're good. And,
Yes.
and that's the way that I personally live. It's the way I personally believe. I got a handful of friends. I got a lot of friends, but I got a handful of friends that I can lean on, and that's fine with me. I don't need an abundance of everything that's being marketed to me in terms of I got to rock with everybody, that kind of stuff. I treat everybody respectfully until they treat me disrespectfully. And so that's the way I go about in terms of dealing with things, and my outlook on life. I don't have, like, personally, and I'm not saying this as a cliche thing, is I don't have time to worry about what other people think about me. I really don't. There's a song I listened to by Andy Mineo, and one of his songs is called Clarity. And he's like, I don't care what anybody else says; it's none of my business. And it's just like, it's
Yeah.
like, who cares? I don't care what you think about me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect my life as long as you don't try to impede upon my progress. Then it's all
Gotcha.
good. You can hate me all day as long as you don't try, like I said, try to impede my progress by discriminating against me by certain things, or trying to harm my family, harm myself. Other than that, it is what it is. I don't have to convince you to like me, and I can keep it moving. So from that standpoint, just be comforted in those that care about you, and worry less about those that don't.
So yeah, so it's a way that your mindset is one of just fortification, and a way of building a fortress around you, as far as your attitude and how you're going to allow other people's thoughts and feelings affect you. Like you said, as long as it's not impeding on your progression, and as
Yeah.
long as nothing's really physical, and as long as nobody's getting your personal space, then pretty much you can pretty much just let it kind of roll off your back and keep it moving.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me one way or another. And again, I'm talking about me, because you asked me how
Right.
I handle it. So that's
Right.
me. That's the way I look at the world. That's just my point of view. Because again, there's so many people, and again, just be mindful of the things that you edify yourself with. And we talk about this plenty of times, and make sure that you don't buy into everybody hates you kind of thing, because that is just as destructive to you as it is more destructive to you than anybody else. And you realize that most people don't think about you that much, to be honest. Uh, and
Yeah.
even if you're a celebrity, they really don't think about you that much until you're in the news cycle. That's why they're always trying to stay in the news cycle. And so just keep that in mind. And once you realize that, once you come to grips with the fact that you're not as important to them as you may think in terms of having haters and that kind of stuff, then it just helps you just move on in life. And I have to tell my kids this, just tell them, it's like, people don't think about you the way you think they do. So don't build up these negative things in your head that stop you from moving forward, that stop you from enjoying life, that stop you from all the things, all the wonderful things that this world has to offer. Don't allow your perception of somebody's perception of you ruin that. And so just focus on what's good. That's it.
Man, and that comes full circle, as far as the loop
What's
of
up, Tim?
us talking about, when you cultivate an attitude of gratitude, a lot of the negative stuff, it doesn't phase you. It just kind of just, you don't even notice a lot of it, unless it's placed directly in your face a lot of
Yeah,
times. But a lot of other things is just kind of just not even in your view, or if it is, you just take it in stride and you keep going. Like you said, as long as you have the loved ones, those close ones in your life, and everybody's doing good and happy, and they are healthy in all respects, mentally, emotionally, and physically, then you just let the haters be. use them as stepping stones and not stumbling blocks.
Yeah, true.
So Nakia says, "Do what makes you happy. It's not harming others or yourself." Yeah, that's easier said than done, I think, for a lot of people. But finding what really makes you happy and make you content, and then focus on pursuing that. As long as you're not hurting anybody, then that's definitely the way to go. I just want to help. Miles says, "Yeah, that's a good heart to have. That is wanting to help." But the thing is, not everybody wants the help, So if somebody
Yeah,
really doesn't,
go ahead, finish. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
the thing is, if somebody really doesn't want the help, we have to realize and recognize that when we see it and just let things be, even though it hurts us sometimes to see somebody in a situation where you can help them, or you can be of help, of service, but sometimes you just got to let the cards play out as they may, and just be
Yeah,
there when they need it or when they ask for it.
I was in a call last night, video call. We were doing like a thing in another group, and going back to like you said, the heart of helping, help without expecting any reciprocity, and that'll make your life a lot easier. And what I mean by that is, if you help somebody, don't expect a thank you, don't expect gratitude, don't expect any of that, because sometimes the expectations of what we want from others can ruin the moment, right? And so don't just do things for the sake of doing it without any expectation of a return. And when you do that, it just makes life easier in a lot of ways, because a lot of times the things that put us at odds with other people sometimes is disappointment, because you may have expectations for them that they don't quite meet, and that can cause conflict. So, and again, I'm saying this from experience, from my own experience, is just sometimes just let people be who they are and do things without expectation, and it just makes everything so much simpler. And so, yeah. So whenever you're trying to help somebody, just as like you said, some warning, just put it out there. They take it, they take it. They don't, and just be, just grateful that you did what you felt to do. That was right.
Man, that's a good point. Just not having an expectation on the individual, but just realizing and having an expectation on the principle of that when you put out good seed, that harvest can come to you in a multiple ways. Every decision that we make ripples throughout, the ether, I guess you could say, and it comes back to us in a variant of ways. So you just never know. Just realize that what you put out, meaning the decisions that you make, has consequences and rewards attached to them, and they often can, boomerang back around in a way that we could have never imagined. But don't have an expectation on the individual, but just have an expectation on the principle of
Yep.
reaping and sowing. That no matter what, every decision has a consequence or reward attached to it, and just realizing that. So just depend on that.
True. So, quick question for you, Kev.
Yep.
This is something I think about every year, so I'm gonna ask you: um, Is did you eat a lot yesterday, or is Thanksgiving a day of difference in terms of meals for you? I just want
No.
to,
No. Thanksgiving Day is not a day that I eat any more than what I normally usually eat. I pretty much stay pretty consistent year round, good, bad, or right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't know how people would feel about that or think about that. All the chefs out there, they take things personal a little bit when you don't indulge in their work. But I do indulge. I just don't overindulge. I don't go out of my way to than no more normally than I normally do.
Okay. Yeah, it was just a question I had because I noticed everything's. I actually eat less, and I think it's because the types of food have more starches in them, and I can't handle starches. So it's like I ate a total of 1.5 plates all of yesterday. Like, what's up, Tim? Anyway, let me get back to it. I just want to have it aside. Mal says that she doesn't like being misunderstood. And I know this. I've dealt with this with different instances in my own family, and I can only relate to me because I know my mindset is not the same as everybody else, and neither is Kevin's or anybody else. So when I give advice, I'm giving it from my own perspective. However, I do understand that not everybody has their different ways of handling things, different
Yeah,
type, and all of
yeah.
that. And so I'm going to give you, some advice.
Blaze
Yeah,
perspective.
again, it's my whole mindset because I know me in terms of being misunderstood. Again, just focus, like Kevin said, just focus on doing what's right and let that be a reward in and of itself. You can't expect other people to think of you in a certain way or to appreciate everything that you do. It just won't happen. And the more you let that get to you, then the more it's going to actually work against you. So again, we talk about community all the time, and one of the benefits of community all the time, all of community is just being around people that do understand you,
On a
is
regular
giving
basis.
people, yeah, giving people the opportunity to understand you, to know who you are and those kinds of things. And also a caveat that I want to throw in there, because I thought about this when I was answering the comment that Miles made earlier, is the fact that I do understand that I don't work with other people, so those dynamics don't affect me as the same as they may affect somebody else. Because sometimes, when you're at a job or whatever, maybe you're contracted, or whatever the case may be, you'll be working with other people, and those dynamics don't always work in your favor, right? And so I do understand that. And again, sometimes it's just one of those things. And I do understand the dynamics of being a man versus being a female. I get that as well, because things people take things different ways depending on who's representing what. 'Cause I know sometimes my wife will be on a call, she'll be like, I want them to talk to you, and so she said they'll treat you different than they treat me, right? So I get those dynamics as well. And the best advice that I can give you is, you know, address things in straight up, and I don't mean necessarily in an aggressive way or anything like that,
Right.
because a lot of times when I say I confront things, I'm super mellow. I don't raise my voice. I don't do any of that, and people still take it aggressively because I
Mhm.
don't, I don't yell, I don't scream. That's just not my personality. And so when I address things, I'm just very straight to the point. What's going on? What's the problem? You said this, and if somebody doesn't do what they said that they did, I'll just call them a liar without even, going all. It's like you're lying. This is not what you said. I got proof. Blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Or if there's a misunderstanding, like, okay, what is the problem? Where are we missing here? Those kinds of things. And sometimes that can alleviate things. Sometimes it just puts everything out in the open. A lot of times we hold secrets around people,
Yep.
and when those secret, they're kind of there. It's like the white elephant is, I think that's what they call it, the
Yeah.
elephant in the room kind of thing. It's just like, go ahead, talk about the elephant and get it out there, right? Get it out there, confront it, and then go from there. It's like, we're right here. Yeah, she said, they want you to be aggressive, and again, you it just
Don't.
just put it you just put it out there, and once you put it out there, then it makes it harder to skate around the issue, right? And again, but just be calm about it. Don't let your
Emotions.
yeah, I want to say that, but I don't want to mean it in a condescending way, because, and the reason
Right.
why I'm saying that, because she said I don't like being misunderstood and those kinds of things. Just make it plain, like, okay, these are my intentions. This is straight up what's going on. Why do you have an issue with me? Blah, so on and so forth. Sometimes you may not like the answer. that's something you got to expect as well. Sometimes somebody will give you an answer that you don't like, and you just have to live with it in some instances. So that's just something to think about. It's not the right way or whatever. That's just the way I think about it.
That's just the Leafs way. But when she said misunderstanding, you were making me think of um, the times where I spent, I spent a lot of time in front of groups, teaching and talking, and
Yeah.
just thinking about communication and how just thinking about when I first started versus years later, I noticed that no matter it may take 20 different ways to say the same thing in order to iron out as much misunderstanding and miscommunication as possible. And I had to learn to cultivate the skill of patience and then just, articulation and just dealing with um, where people are and where they may be perceiving and receiving the message that you're giving. So learning how to communicate to a wide variety of people where they're at was a skill that it took for me to cultivate when it comes to ironing out as much miscommunication and misunderstanding as possible. And just realizing, like you said, that there are a lot of temperaments and it just depends on where people are. And you have to cultivate the ability to take on somebody else's mindset and frame of perception in order to draw them over to where you're at. So that may, I don't know if that's something that helps, but I can identify and I can definitely sympathize and empathize with being misunderstood. So, so sometimes whenever we're on here talking, I haven't done it lately, but I usually talk like severely slow, and I like over articulate my words. And some people will accuse me of like talking down or condescending, but it's not that. It just comes from it just comes from spending a lot of time in front of a wide group of people, and you have to be able to communicate with a broad range of temperaments and attitudes, and you just never know where somebody is at the time that you are communicating, which opens the door for a lot of misunderstanding. So just being able to modulate your heart and your modulate and think about what you're thinking about. That can definitely help. I love Jesus, but I cuss a lot.
So like a big pun versus something.
Yeah, exactly. What was the one she had up before that?
She said, okay, I get it. And then the other one. So when you all see me post these up, just to add some clarity, it's because Kevin can't see the comments, so I put them up just so he can see them. It's not necessarily for the audience themselves. Is just for them. She said a lot. Well, maybe that's part of the misunderstanding.
Just saying.
There you go, MF. No. I'm just messing with you. Actually, I don't know. But yeah. So, what was you saying in terms of communication? One of the things that I sometimes have to myself work on is quite the opposite, right? Is that I don't care if somebody understands. So I have to, go back and
that doesn't make good for talk and podcasting.
Yeah, it's it's a work in progress. We're all working on something. It's like, let it out, man, let it out. But yeah, so that's my problem sometimes, is the fact that I don't care enough to explain. So I try to keep my words very simple and very short in terms of communicating things, because I don't like over explaining. And so
maybe that's where we even each other out, because I care maybe too much.
Yeah, it's definitely a balance. Because my wife, she wants to have everybody understand her, and I'm the opposite. I don't care if you understand me or not. So yeah, there's definitely a balance there. We always have, you know, we try to meet in the middle in terms of, you know, communicating to others, not necessarily to one another, but to others, and just, you know, the rationale. But it is definitely a good thing. Just going into the dynamics of relationship and going back to what I was talking about, and realizing that everybody's personalities aren't the same. I definitely realized that with my wife. Like, she's super nice, and I'm not. I'm nice, but I'm not necessarily, like, I don't present myself as nice, if that makes sense.
You like bare minimum nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I do stuff for other people, I care about people, but I'm not. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I'm
You
just
like
very
you meet the
stoic.
bare minimum requirements of getting in heaven nice.
No, it's not even that. I think it's just my personality is just, I don't know. I've turned into an old man, and so and so the older I get, the less I care, and so I think that's part of it, you know. But I'm, you know, anyway, it's just more personality types that I notice, and I notice it even in my kids. I have one daughter that's exactly like me, and my other daughter is exactly like my wife. And so it's even interesting looking at those dynamics and how they communicate, and then it makes me think about the way I communicate versus the way my wife communicates.
So, what's one thing? Did you say your one thing that you're grateful for,
I did not. So,
and
well, there's
why?
many. Yeah, there's many things that I'm grateful for. I actually write them down every day. And the core of what I'm grateful for is my family, first and foremost, my wife and my children. Just the ability to be around them as often as I am. That's something that, you know, requires sacrifice in terms of other things to do in life, and the way I approach the way I do things. And so it's on purpose, for me to spend a lot of time with them, because there was a time when I didn't, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. And then so that I'm definitely grateful for purpose on a daily basis. You know, just rehearsing my goals, rehearsing the reason why. And also, I'm just grateful to be grateful, because I know the benefits of being grateful. And
Yeah,
so, just,
absolutely.
James Altucher, he's like, he
Yeah.
has like a big blog or whatever. He talks about this type stuff all the time. Is that and he's even more blunt or just coarse or crass than I am. He's like, hey, I write down what I'm grateful for every day, and it's not even about anybody else other than me. He said, you know, the fact, because he knows the benefits that it gives him to even reflect on the people and the things that he cares about. So that's the real benefit of it. And even going back to, now I was talking about, you know, helping other people. The real benefit is for you. At the end of the day, the major benefit in going out and being altruistic and helping people, it benefits you, as long as you don't overdo it and expend yourself beyond your means.
Well,
So
that's the beautiful thing about doing the right thing is that it's mutually beneficial for all parties involved.
yeah,
It's not a win lose or sum zero game when it comes to doing the right thing and cultivating some of the virtues, that is in line with the way. When we were talking
yeah,
about, yeah, when you're in line with the way, the decisions that you make, talking about reaping and sowing and how it ripples out and comes back to you. Um, when you do stuff that's in line with the way, then you're on the path to prosperity in some form, shape, or fashion. Doesn't mean you're going to have a million zeros in the bank account all the time, but talking about prosperity in all areas of human endeavor, whether it be, an open, receptive, and peaceful heart, or whether it be a mind that is clear. You talked about clarity, a mind that is focused on the positive things in life, no matter what's going on, even though we may be in a pandemic. When you train your mind to be focused on the good things, then
yeah,
it's always the best of times, no matter what.
yeah.
Like
The times
Charles,
are the times. Yeah, it's
the times
life.
are the times.
Life is
Like
life.
Charles Dickens said, it's the best of times, it's worst of times, But when you cultivate your mind to be focused on the good things, then it's always the best of times. There's all, you know, I hear somebody say when they talk about the market, there's always a bull market somewhere. You know, it's always good times somewhere. It's just, have you trained your mind to find a way? I'm thinking about the podcast I listened to with Joe Rogan and Donnell, and then Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I saw that. I was gonna watch that. I didn't watch it yet though.
But just thinking about that, you know, like I said, Joe Rogan's kind of a bleeding heart. You know, just talking about people in the situations and circumstances. But at some point, Donnell was like, "Hey, you just got to find a way." You know, we all have to just find a way, and just cultivating your heart and your mind, and then your body too. I'm thinking about David Goggins. Just start thinking about the discipline to train your body for hard times. You know, that helps too when it comes to moments like these. Are you fit, you know, for tough times?
Sometimes tough times make you fit.
Yes,
Even
the tough
not.
times.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. The fact that we're adaptable, the fact that, you know, we can, you know, cope in the most extraneous circumstances. And so I definitely take comfort in that, you know, but I do want to prepare to make it less rough when it does, you know, those things do happen. But
Yeah.
again, you know, we're capable of adapting to a wide variety of things. And even just, like you said, cultivating that mindset to be positive, because, you know, the one benefit that we have that it's actually, I guess, a benefit and a curse that we have that many generations before us didn't have, is we have all this information, right? And we have information in terms of when certain countries were at war, other countries were at peace, and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, man, this is the worst, you know, thing that could go on. We're talking about, you know, 2020 and all the bad stuff that has happened. But again, it's just your life. You can't fast forward or rewind and go back to a time when things were a certain way. Like you said, you just have to, you know, sniff those things out, be able to see the good in every situation, or be able to see the opportunity, right? See the opportunities that are there. I mean, as things progress, markets will die. That's just the nature of the beast, pandemic or no pandemic. You know, if the pandemic didn't happen, then there's still no guarantee that your company or your job would even be around. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that you have to keep in mind in terms of, you know, the way you view life and you view the things around you and the circumstances and all of that. And so on the one hand, you know, if things are inequitable, you have to call those things out. But on the other hand, again, I had a conversation about this the other day, and I know it sounds crass when I say it, but it's like, you're an adult, you have the ability to leave. Unless you're shackled, unless you're incarcerated against your will, then you have the ability to leave and literally change your geographic location, change your income to some degree, depending on what skill sets you have in order to do that. There's a lot of freedoms that we have, but the confinement is typically our own thoughts. And so once you start freeing your thoughts, and this is really what we're talking about seeing the good in any situation. It's perspective, and being able to overcome the fear to change the narrative that is your life. And once you are able to identify those things and overcome those fears, then it opens up other possibilities for you. And I say this because, you know, I just think about myself sometimes. You know, when I say I'm around my family, I remember there's a time where I didn't think that I could do that. It just didn't seem, it's like, okay, this is just the routine that I have to do. And until I realized that, you know what, I saw certain facades that let me realize I could make it without certain things. And that just changed my mindset forever, in a sense.
Man, change your, you know, you said you saw some things that you can do without. You when you said that, you were making me think of minimalism, and just when I came across that concept, actually, I came across it before it was called minimalism, but
Yeah.
just realizing that there were some things that I could do without. There were some labels and brands that I necessarily didn't have to have or be attached to as far as a payment or whatever. And then realizing that it just, like you said, it brings about a certain level of freedom when you stop caring about labels and brands and some of the things that our culture presses upon you when it comes to being a consumerist culture of consumerism. And just when you cultivate the attitudes of gratitude and you realize that what you have is enough. If you're safe, you got a roof, you got water, you got good food, you got family and friends. Appreciate that, be content with that while you pursue greater. Don't let you don't have to um, put off any goals or anything of any ambition. It's good to be ambitious, but it's also even better to be content where you're at while you're ambitious. Um, that way, if I get hit by a truck tomorrow, I lived a good life.
Yeah, don't try not to get hit by trucks, bro.
Yeah, I always pull that one out because that's it's one of those extremes. But if it does happen, it's like, hey, I lived a decent, good life. Can't complain.
Yeah, because you never know anyway. Yeah, and even when I was talking about like things that I could live without, it I was really just talking about the comforts that we often have that give us I don't know, like just I remember. I'll paraphrase it this way. I remember a guy. I can't think of his name. I see his face, and he was talking about paychecks being addictive. And he said it's hard to walk away from a paycheck because it's addictive. And so when I'm talking about, I never picture myself doing some of the things that I've done because it was always attached to my paycheck and me finding somebody to give me opportunities. And then once I realized that I could live without that paycheck, then it opened up other opportunities for me. It took away my fears. It took away uh, just the anxiety of making sure that I kept my paycheck, if that makes any sense. So that's again just perspective, just perspective on life and realizing that we talk about this all the time in the sense that you're more powerful than what you perceive yourself to be. Sometimes you
Yeah.
can you're more self-sustaining than you believe. Sometimes you believe you are, and in pressure we talk about adversity and those kinds of things. That's actually what helps build your muscles. Without resistance there is no muscle building. And so sometimes you have to put yourself in a forced resistance standpoint. The reason why most of us go to the gym is because we don't work hard labor. So it's like, I don't push a cow and plow fields myself. So I gotta basically mimic that and go to the gym to, just to recreate some of that stuff. All
That's
right,
crazy.
take care, Miles.
Take care,
We love you
Miles.
too. Yeah, she said she's got to sleep. So
But
go
don't that
ahead.
speak to the level of wealth that we've attained that I have to go to a gym to simulate uh,
Hard work.
hard labor?
Yeah, and again, so utilizing that and thinking of the benefits of that, right? And again, it's everything is perspective. Everything is a mindset. There's different levels to it. There's different levels. There's many levels I can increase in. And so what we're trying to do is just point some of these things out. And when I think about this stuff, I just think about again my own subjective perspective and the things in the path that my life has taken that I didn't expect, that I didn't know of. I was ignorant to a whole lot of things uh, prior to me doing some of the things that I've done. And so it just expanded my worldview. It expanded my thoughts, and it let me see that my perception on reality, so to speak, was flawed in a lot of ways. And I always think back to when I worked in a manufacturing plant. Uh, I wasn't a manufacturer, I was a designer there, but I got to see how things were made, and it taught me the true sense of what value is. And then of course going into cryptocurrency, it just expanded upon that mindset. So
Man, that sounds like a future class. How to break free of the matrix and survive on your own, Leif.
yeah, I
That's
mean,
good. That's a special skill set.
here's the hard part about all of that, right? It's the hard, easy part about it, and it's the funny thing about classes to me, right? Is the one thing you can't give somebody is pain tolerance. That's the thing, and it's like if you want to improve, if we talked about it with Elon Musk, right? Read and
Yeah.
practice. Read and practice. It's like you got to do a lot of reading, you got to do a lot of practice, and that stuff is not sexy at all. So when we go to classes, we expect this magical answer. It's like, okay, they're going to give me the formula. They're going to give me the keys to the kingdom. What is it? Read this book and practice this every day. It don't sound sexy. So people have to repackage that in so many different ways. If you want to improve in art, guess what you got to do? You got to study and you got to draw constantly. You got to paint constantly. You have to do whatever it is constantly and consistently for hours on end. And it doesn't sound sexy at all. It doesn't sound like something you want to do. It's like, okay, I want to bypass all of that. I want to bypass the hard work. And the only way to do that is to be rich. So, so you got options. It's like you're either wealthy and you can pay somebody to do all those things for you, or you got to do it yourself. And so going back to the class, yeah, I could give a class on it, but unless I can come over there and kick you and make you feel the pain that it's going to require and the pain tolerance that it requires to go through some of this stuff, it only takes you so far.
Dang, man. We'll come up with a marketing campaign for that.
Pain in a bottle.
The kid battle. They have to be able to mindfully be able to want better. Yeah, that goes back to mindset that we talk about a lot, and mindset is so important. Just being grateful to realize that it's something as simple as a mindset shift or a paradigm or a mindset change that is really the catalyst for everything else when it comes to whatever it is you want to do in life. I think we spend a large part of what we talk about as far as mindset. I realize it's important. I don't know when I really realize its importance, but I understand that it's really important now as far as mindset and what you allow your mind to dwell on and what you take in on a constant and regular basis, because that shapes how you feel, and how you feel that shapes how you act and how you behave. In large part. So it's very important that we are mindful of what we take in when it comes to things that we think about and consume.
Yeah, and with that, you said something that it just really made me think is uh, just the importance of mentors, the importance of coaching,
Yeah.
because they can push you beyond your own mindset. It's like we both have been personal trainers and trained people in terms of physical working out and those kinds of things, and really is just your job is just to push somebody, one, give somebody knowledge, and then two, push them beyond their current constraints. And oftentimes, Nika said it starts at the mind, but sometimes those things even have to be pushed out of you. It's the one thing that I always say, like when it comes to military training, is no matter how in shape you are, they'll push you beyond your limits.
Yeah.
And so that's the benefit of having somebody to help force you into moving beyond your current extent, because like I said, you're so much greater than we all are in some respects, so much greater than the current capacitors that we put on ourselves. And sometimes it takes another person to push you, whether it's a family member, mama that loves you and wants to see the best for you, and she pushes you all the time, or it could be a coach, it could be a planner, it could be all kinds of ways. And again, that goes back to community. Your community you can build around you. Sometimes the community can cost you money, in terms of, getting coaches and things like that. Or a community can just be like-minded friends and peers that are trying to achieve similar things, and you all push one another. So again, just being around other people. The scripture says, "Iron sharpeneth iron," and so you want to be around those that sharpen you and make you better, make you more agile, make you a better weapon in this world, so to speak. And just, I don't know, I find myself surrounding myself with people that have similar aspirations in terms of life. So again, it's nothing for me to just call up any one of my friends to get advice, to get, a pep talk if ever I need it, or vice versa. So just be mindful of that when you're setting when you're building your community, and push yourself that way. She said so many times I had to push myself. Oh yeah, ultimately it comes down to you. It ultimately comes down to you. And again, having people that push you and motivate you is a good way to get past even you sometimes.
Yeah, when you said that, you made me think of the writer of The Charisma Myth. It's a book called The Charisma Myth: How Anyone Can Master the Art and Science of Personal Magnetism. But in that book, Olivia Fox Cabane, she talks about how many of the top CEOs and top people in leadership positions have coaches. And it's just something that she said, it's something that just, I guess, your everyday person really doesn't think about,
Yep.
understand, or would even consider, or wouldn't even think about hiring or taking on a personal business coach, or just a life coach, or a coach in general, and in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And she was talking about a lot of top people. They all have, coaches that, like you said, pretty much do one thing, and that's push
Yep.
somebody to their limits, past their limits,
Yep.
and hold them accountable, and just try to, hold their feet to the fire and get as much out of the person as they can. Um,
Yeah. Nika said, go ahead. You gonna say
and that
something?
made me think about, like you said, the importance of having mentors and somebody who can help you along the way.
Yep. Nika said you may not have someone all the time. That's true, but when you have the opportunity, you definitely need to find someone. And the reason why I say that, and again, so we live in a world where we have many benefits that the generations before us didn't have. In the
Right.
sense that if I want, I said Elon Musk, if I want him to be my mentor, so to speak, I can go read his books, and I can go find his YouTube talks, and I can go do a whole lot of research on somebody without having them even present. So that's another difference of that we have today versus the many generations before us. And also, the benefit in that is, it says how can they know the path unless you're shown the way, right? Everything is not always about trailblazing, because if you spend all your time trailblazing, you don't get to reap the benefits of going, the path, so to speak. So you want to make sure that you, whenever you possible, you level up your knowledge by taking advantage of somebody else's experience.
Yeah.
That's a benefit that we have today, whether you're talking to somebody personally, or, a lot of times if I'm talking with somebody that I'll reach out to, I'll even ask them what books they've read or what experiences they have, so I can basically get on the same mindset track as they had. And again, just man, there's so many people I've had be my mentor that I've reached out to, and this is no money, no nothing. People that I don't even know, I'll reach out to somebody and ask them questions, and that is that life is your mentor. Oh, I mean, yeah, we all live this life, we all live our own version of life, right? And so definitely that, but don't get so isolated and so headstrong that you don't take advantage of the resources around you. That's just part of it. If you want to level up, the fastest way to do it is through the help of others. When we talk about privilege, that's what privilege really is. It's taking advantage of the resources of other people. And whether that be an inheritance, whether that be you're born into a network, all of these different things, whether you're part of the Ivy League syndicate, so to speak, all of those things are part of leveling up. And so you want to make sure that you take advantage of those things and don't isolate yourself and make your the going a whole lot tougher. Even when you're looking at individual sports, like I'll say Mr. Olympia, right? Because I was just looking at the guy that won Mr. Olympia last year. Those things, that takes teams. We talk about a Floyd Mayweather, we talk about a Tyson, we talk about any of these people. They have teams around them. They get all the fanfare and all of that because they're the front runner, but there's a team of people behind them that get them to be where they are. Even David Goggins would not be David Goggins without the Marines, without, he pushes himself a lot, but again, he takes advantage of having other people around him. His girlfriend films him so he can do all of this type stuff. And again, the fact that we're a communal people, that we're just born, that we're made that way to be communal. I mean, that's what populations and societies are all about. Take advantage of that and don't isolate yourself into oblivion. So definitely I spend more time alone than anybody else. But I definitely take advantage of reaching out to people and asking pertinent questions and getting level ups that I don't have the experiences of.
Man, yeah, you really hit on it, talking about, no man or woman is an island unto themselves. And that's a lesson I had to learn, that, it takes other people, appreciate other people. So I had to learn to be receptive. Some people have a hard time with receiving, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
And so learning how to receive, and being grateful for that. And they could be, and just letting pride go and ego go, and realizing that you don't have to be headstrong. You don't have to struggle and strive on your journey. When there's people that's just waiting for you to say, "Hey, can I get some help?" I was waiting for you to, ask for help, man. I help you out.
That you're struggling all these years.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you gotta ask, man. You gotta open up your mouth. So they tell me to open up your mouth, man.
Here, right?
Yeah. Life's too short, man. If you want to, what they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with a team.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why we always talk about community and the importance of it. I'm a therapist without certification. Me too.
It's real.
Yeah.
Definitely real. And again, the benefit nowadays is that there's so much information out. I keep saying that you could literally become a unlicensed or uncertified therapist by just studying and reading and researching. I mean, it's all that stuff is available. And
you
even
can become anything.
Yeah, like literally. I remember one person was talking about growing up in Haiti, how they had like different sections of where they live. Like, okay, in this area you had doctors. In this area you may have, I'll just say therapists or whatever. And nobody had any degrees. It's just what they did in those particular areas.
Yeah,
and it was just passed on like a trade, so to speak. It's like familial trades, which is kind of how trades came about. To be honest, is because people didn't have family, and it's like, okay, I got to pass this knowledge on to somebody, so I'll take on an apprentice. So anyway, that's all of this stuff. We're just talking about just seeing the beauty of life, the benefits that are the things around you at all times, being grateful, and just taking advantage of the ability to be grateful. That's
it.
That's it.
Wrap it up?
Go ahead, brother.
Two shot guys in the mic. Just having a conversation about, how being grateful will help you live a better life. There are so many benefits. We named off like 20 something benefits of them, but it goes way beyond that. Just being grateful helps you in so many ways. It helps you with your heart, your mind. It helps you with your physical body, your physiology. And most importantly, it helps you with your spiritual journey, and realizing that there's more to this life than meets the eye. And just being thankful that you have meaning and value and purpose, and just being grateful that you are made with design, and so you matter. So just thinking about being grateful and how important it is to cultivate that and develop a habit of being thankful that can definitely set you up for success and keep you in a place of contentment and peace. So that's all we got, Leif. Two shot guys on the mic. Just hit like, share. Thanks for joining us. We definitely appreciate your time and your attention that you spend with us because we know it's valuable and hopefully you get a return on investment that is worth your while.
And thank you for
Oh,
joining
cool.
us. Nico. We're glad you got something out of it. We definitely
Yep.
appreciate your feedback and the conversation. We appreciate everybody that participated. Like you said, peace and blessings, and enjoy the remainder of your weekend if you have just happen to be off. So take care,
Yep.
babe. Bye.